Commissioner Zakos,
Here.
Commissioner Bennett, and Commissioner Decker.
Here.
So we have a forum. We will get right into it. The first order of business is public comment. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to say anything? You're the only one. We're good? Okay. All right. So we'll move forward to the old business. The minutes have and the accounts payable have been sent via email. Hopefully you had a time to review. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
I'll make that motion. And I'll second it.
Moved and made by Commissioner Smith, and seconded by Commissioner Decker. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The second order of business are the accounts payable. Again, that also was in the package to review. And I would have a motion to approve.
I make the motion to approve.
Commissioner Decker makes a motion in a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Wolf. All those in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries as well. The accounts payable for 2023 for January is approved. So we have some exciting resolutions, something that's been reading. We have 3 resolutions this evening, they're also in the package. And the first one is for BDO, which will be our new accountant. It's where's the Hudson Housing Authority? I'm sorry, resolution number 532. Whereas the Hudson Housing Authority issued an RFP for accounting services on August 19th, 2022. Whereas 2 firms responded and the executive director made a recommendation to accept the proposal from BDO USA LLP. Whereas the Hudson Housing Authority Board of Commissioners desired to enter agreement with BDO USA LLP for accounting services from March 1st, 2023 to November 1st, 2023. Whereas this agreement will provide an allocation not to exceed $50,000. And whereas this funding will be used for BDO USA LLP for fee accounting services for the Hudson Housing Authority. Now therefore it be resolved that the Board of Commissioners hereby authorize the executive director to execute the agreement with BDO USA LLP for accounting services in a form that is acceptable with the executive director and council on February 27th of 2023, effective March 1st, 2003.
I make
Questions?
that.
You make a motion to
Yes.
Commissioner Decker, seconded by
I will second that.
Commissioner Smith. And we will have a roll call vote. Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Cousins,
Aye.
Commissioner Wolf,
Aye.
Commissioner Board, absent, Commissioner Zakos,
Aye.
Commissioner Bennett, is absent, Commissioner Decker,
Aye.
and the motion carried. Yay, that was a big deal.
This is very
This is-
exciting.
This is an international company and they're very good.
This is. We can do this.
Get our books in order.
Excellent.
Get our books in order. The next order of business, the next resolution is resolution number 533. Whereas the Hudson Housing Authority Board of Commissioners adopted a resolution number 533 of February 27, 2023. Increasing payment standards to 120% of FMR fair market rent for Section 8 program 2023. Whereas the Housing Authority is finding it increasingly more and more difficult to place qualified Section 8 applicants in rental housing in the city of Hudson due to landlords raising the rates of rent on available rental properties citywide. And whereas the Hudson Housing Authority also bases its need on the average rent in the city of Hudson are much higher than the standard for Columbia County. And the Hudson Housing Authority is struggling to get new HAP contracts due to the Housing Authority's lower payment standard. And whereas the Hudson Housing Authority wishes to increase the current payment standard of 100% for Section 8 of 2023 to 120% of FMRs reflected in the attached payment standard schedule. And whereas the Hudson Housing Authority. Okay, whereas the Hudson, would you like me to wait?
Yeah.
Go ahead. All right.
He said, all right.
Okay. Whereas the Hudson Housing Authority last received its increase it has last increased its Section 8 payment standard in 2015, from 90% of the FMR to 100% of the FMR for Section 8. And whereas the U.S. Department of HUD allows PHAs to increase their payment standard at the Housing Authority's discretion to meet changing local, city, county geographical markets not to exceed 120% of the FMR. And now therefore be resolved that the Board of Commissioners hereby adopts increasing payment standards to 120% of FMR for Section 8 program of 2023. There's a mistake. I think it says 22, but I fixed it. This is will be adopted today, February 27, 2023.
I'll make the motion to accept this resolution.
And
Who's
I'll
making a
second it.
motion?
Claire is making the motion and, Decker is second.
Cousins and Decker.
But Nick has a question.
Yes.
Let's vote first. Not a
Okay.
question.
Okay, Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Cousins,
Aye.
Commissioner Wolf,
Aye.
Commissioner Boyd, absent. Commissioner Zako,
Aye.
Commissioner Bennett, absent, Commissioner Decker,
Aye.
and the motion carries.
This is so exciting. I'll let Nick go first.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna make a request,
Yes, sir.
see if you could explain this, what we just voted on to lay people.
So actually, I made an example, it might be easier, and that still might be a confusion, but the bottom line is the standards are increased, which allows the housing authority to provide more assistance and the residents to have more leeway in paying less rent or more fair rent. And so here, let me give you an example. It will translate better. I actually need that for you, because it is confusing to people. So I just made up some, or had some calculations made up. So for example, in a one bedroom, the current payment standard now will be $1,095. If a family incomes is $10,000 annually, their maximum contribution or minimum contribution for 30% is $250. The PHA's maximum would be $1,095, which is the payment standard, minus $250, which is their portion, would be $845. So the family's max contribution, we can go up to 40%, would be $333. So what that does is makes the PHA plus the family's max will equal $1,178. And this is the max rent that a person can afford with utilities included for a one bedroom. And the standards are so much lower now, we're not close to that. And I can, share this, but it is confusing. And I'm sorry, but I promise you it's a good thing. It's definitely, allows us to assist more.
It also helps out with the problem that the counties, like the standards are based on the county, right? But the city of Hudson has really different numbers.
Mhm.
Right, well, and if you look up, you can do, you okay? Okay. I'm sorry, you can look up the, average rents in the city and you can see, and it'll show the comparison, so people can get a better bang for their buck. So this will happen and it'll be effective March 1st, so we can start trying to help some more people out.
I think that this is a beautiful thing, and this is something that Claire has spoke on in the past, and made aware to the board on how we can make a change, and I'm very excited that it finally happened.
Right, and by the way, we not only asked to increase it, but we had to get permission from HUD, and they approved it they sent me a letter on February 16, 2023, sanctioning the action.
That's great.
Okay,
If I can make one comment, I just
sure.
piggybacking off what Vonda said, it actually makes some of the work at the county level a little bit easier because it proves the point that, we need to match the living cost
Yes.
at the very least. So this is very exciting.
Yes.
Such an eloquent commissioner. It always captures the moment.
Yes.
All right. So resolution number 534, which is not as exciting, but it's standard and it must be done. Where the Hudson Housing Authority issued an RFP for audit services, on December 14, 2022. Whereas one firm responded and the executive director made a recommendation to accept the proposal for Buell CPAPC. Whereas the Hudson Housing Authority Board of Commissioners desires to enter an agreement with Buell CPAPC for audit services for 12-month periods ending June 30th, 2022 and 2023, with an option to extend this agreement through June 30th, 2024. Whereas this agreement will provide an allocation of $14,000 per audit. And this funding, whereas this funding will be used for Buell CPAPC for audit services for the Hudson Housing Authority. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners hereby authorize the Executive Director to execute, excuse me, the agreement with Buell CPAPC for the audit services in a form that is acceptable with the Executive Director and Council of February 27, 2023, effective March 1st, 2020. May I have a motion to?
I will make that motion.
And I'll second it.
Cousins and Smith and Cousins?
Smith
Oh,
and Decker.
Commissioner Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Cousins,
Aye.
Commissioner Wolf,
Aye.
Commissioner Gore is absent. Commissioner Zappos,
Aye.
Commissioner Bennett is absent, and Commissioner Decker.
Aye.
The motion carried. And just as FYI, thank you for this. This is very important. We are actually late or almost late. This particular audit for 2022 is due by the end of March. So it will be completed. We already have told them they start gearing up. And then going forward, we should be on time, which is important. This along with the new accountant should have our books in a much better format and we can correct some of the findings that we had in the books. And lastly, I don't have a long executive director report today, but I always try to give you a little something. Not that I'm not working or anything like that, it's just that, there's some things in process, so. TARS is still on our list, our accounts receivable is still over 50,000, it's come down a little. And I just want to make the point publicly and, hybrid that, I've been contacting residents with the highest balances to discuss their accounts. And there's some people who have come and spoken to me and, we're trying to make resolution in that way. And I want to thank them for participating in that and, for them keeping the arrangements and having discussions with me. But there's some people who are not responding to the letters and I absolutely cannot help you if you don't come talk to me. So please come talk to me. I've talked to HCAC, I've talked to Promise Neighborhoods, and there may be some things in the works, but I need to get the complexion of people's problems so that I can convey that to those groups accordingly, so we can get assistance. And meanwhile, we need folks to pay their rent, pay on time. If you have a payment arrangement, make sure you are keeping your arrangement and making it on time. I just want to let folks know that our residents some of them are doing some things to hurt themselves, meaning they're accruing late fees because they're not paying the rent on time. And we're in a payment arrangement, and if they make the arrangement within the first 10 days, as we agree, there's no late fee, so you're not giving away an extra, few dollars. And again, the second thing is, if you are behind in your rent, come immediately. Don't wait 4, 5, 6 months. And I'm going to contact you anyway. I'm not going to let it go like that any longer, but come see me right away, because if your rent is $400, for example, it's much easier for you to make an arrangement on $400 plus your regular rent as opposed to thousands of dollars. So I just want to put that out there. I definitely hope that residents do continue to respond or start responding to the ones that have it. Don't be afraid. It's a problem we want to try to solve, and we're here to help. All right. Secondly, the pet policy. We have right now, there will be no new admissions of pets until further notice. I'm currently reviewing the pet policy and going to update it. And so that means for people, if you have a pet that's unauthorized, you should not have it. And while I review the policy, you need to make certain arrangements. And then going forward, once we review the policy, you have to make sure that you comply with whatever the policy is so that you can have a pet unauthorized. Unfortunately, some people are going to get a pet, bringing it in and then filling out the paperwork. That is not the proper way to do it. Just like You're not supposed to have somebody living here and then add them to your lease. That's supposed to be done upfront. You're supposed to have approval upfront before you do those things. And the last thing is the most exciting. I promise you, Commissioner Smith will smile. The RFQ submission is due on Friday, March 3rd, 2023.
Next Friday is the end,
Right.
and
so
we get
want
to hear from everybody.
Right, so we want to remind all respondents of the
Yes.
deadline, and we look forward to your submission.
Yeah,
That's it for the executive director.
Okay, can you just break that down a little bit for those of us who are out of the loop lately? RFQ submission, meaning,
This is a request for qualifications for development partners. So at this point, we are asking developers to submit. Okay. At this point, we're looking at their qualifications, and based on what has been outlined, and once they come in and I begin to review it, and I'll have a team to do that. We will select by April 3rd, the best candidate that meets those qualifications and that will have Hudson's needs and objectives in mind. And from that, we will begin to make plans to move forward for better housing along with the resident participation. And everybody involved who wants to help us. And there's people out there just waiting on deck, Congressman, Democrat and Republican, the city's on board, the state's on board. So we're ready to go, and we're just trying to line these things up. Thanks to the hard work that a lot of it was done before I got here. But I'm just trying to tie things together and push it forward, and so we can move exponentially. And that's it. Did I answer your question?
oh, yeah.
Okay, great, great, great.
Mary's report, right?
Well, I came in, so I guess my appointment time was actually up. So I just wanted to let everyone know that I wasn't seeking the appointment. But it is so exciting to hear that news. And I'm so proud and excited for the future of the housing authority.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The
We'll
best-
talk a little more offline. All right. All right, so you have something to say?
No.
No,
Well,
Mary,
Thank you for your service to the. housing
Yes.
authority.
yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we can.
Great. Awesome.
Um,
Commissioner Decker. I
She's
didn't call you yet, but I'm gonna. Yeah, but you're ready. Do you have a resident commissioner's report?
I do, but before we go into that,
Okay,
me and Claire are gonna partner up together. To do a, like, to do fundraising and all the extra fun stuff and, with HC or HCHC, sorry. To do like for stuff for the building and other tenants that are in the city of Hudson.
awesome.
So we'll be working together. I did have a meeting on the 22nd of February. I'm a month ahead of myself, sorry. One was the smoking policy. Which is, you have already spoken about. Then it was the security issue with the elevator, and I'm not trying to jinx it.
I'm
The
sorry,
se-
can you repeat that?
it was the security, which is, one of them was the elevators,
These are the concerns that came up in the meeting.
yes.
Right.
And I'm not trying to jinx the elevators. Because a lot of people think that, the elevators are constantly breaking, so, that was one concern. They had asked about the stairwell being open. And then they asked who was on call when their security is off, which is, he's off one day of the week anyway. And then another tenant had asked about the exit signs when the power goes out. Because on certain floors it's like blackout, like it's like you have to literally either have a flashlight or use your phone to see where you're going. They asked about painting the apartment. And then they asked, what about the asbestos? checking in on older elderly tenants. Engaging with the tenants, which I think that was supposed to be with Mr. Dotson, engaging with the tenants. Then it says timely work orders and checking to see that they're done on a timely fashion. They want to know when the next tenant meeting is with you, Mr. Dotson. Cleaning the hall floors. They said what's going to happen to the tenants while they build other buildings is one question. What happens with the tenants that are refusing this termination? Putting an exhaust fan in the laundry rooms when it's really hot in here. Getting the cart, because there was that one time they had like the gray pull cart. And then they also had like the pull carts that people can use to bring up grocery cart or groceries. The pet policy. And then they want to know, where does the money go when the tenant is fined for like a lockout? Helping tenants with the household cleaning supplies if they can't afford them. And then they wanted to know if you could put the meeting minutes out on the table in case of people that could not make the meeting can read them. And then they said if Mr. Dotson can address tenants as Mr. or Mrs. instead of like hi Joe Blow kind of thing. And then the cars that are parked in the parking lot with no license plate or registration. Then they said calling Mr. Dotson if something bad happens in the building that's like after the cops are called or if the security is called and it's really bad. And then they said adding another tenant to the board or removing one of the mayor's appointed person.
Mhm.
And that's all I have.
That's a good report.
That's a really good report.
And one of the tenants donating function.
They staying with the little folk down and stuff.
We'll add that to the list.
You know, I wanna know about that.
We'll add that to the list. Yes. So what I'll say is, Commissioner Decker and I did meet prior to the meeting, so I'm aware of some of the concerns that she's already mentioned. But rather than just off the cuff respond, I'd rather respond to them in writing, and what I'll do is make them a part of the executive director's report for the next meeting. However, the one thing I will say, which I think is important about the meeting minutes, and I did mention this to her, she was not aware. The meetings are recorded and there is a public YouTube website or a public YouTube site, rather, Hudson City meetings, and you can see all the meetings in the city if you go to that site. So you can replay the meeting, so you don't have to read it. You can see and hear everything if you choose right on the internet. No longer than 2 days after the meeting. All right, so we'll spread that news. We'll put the website out for people to know, as opposed to, because I'll be honest with you, I don't get the minutes out that fast because I'm doing it myself. And I normally get them a little bit before the meeting. But that is a way so that everybody can be. But the concerns, some of them, all of them are legitimate because they're the residents' concerns. However, some of them will be able to do something about, and some of them we won't, but we will address and explain, what's what and where everything is. Yes, ma'am.
Would you also be able to collect email addresses of people who want to receive the minutes by email? And you can just email out.
Well, that's the other thing. They are also supposed to be on the website, our website. So I'll get that done and put the minutes on the website so they can go to the meeting minutes section and they can pull it up for me. Right, it won't be, right away, like if you want to watch the meeting, but it'll be like a month behind, but it'll be good.
What did happen to those carts for the cart?
The gray cart, it was damaging the So like the halls,
Oh, like getting hit against
Yeah.
walls, doors.
and then the, there was a red one and a black one that where people were putting heavy furniture in. And to move either in or out from one floor to another, so it got damaged. Yeah, that's what happened. Nothing.
Anything else?
No, that was it.
Thank you for your report. We appreciate it. Thank you for
You're
taking the time to meet with the residents too.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That was very nice. Did a
So,
lot of people show up?
5, 6, maybe
That's a lot of
7
people.
Yeah, because we had snacks. The trash.
Yeah. That's the trick.
Yeah, say free food and everybody.
So the office supported the town meeting?
No, she actually helped by contacting Miss Brenda Blanks and she had given us the chips.
That's
So,
great.
and the office did the flyers.
Yeah, and yeah, sorry, thank you.
I just want to, yeah, definitely make, because we, we want that.
Yeah,
I think it's important. For whatever reason, sometimes people don't, they don't voice their opinions, for whatever reason. And this actually goes to another point that she made. I just want to clarify what she was saying. Some of the residents were saying I'm not engaging enough with them, which that was interesting because I talked to everybody. I don't know everybody's names. I don't really call people by names, but what I asked her to do is to, if those residents have an issue and they feel like they need to see or they want to talk to me, make an appointment. I've not turned anyone down, and as I said to Commissioner Decker, and Mike, they've come in and talked to me, and when I've dealt with their issues, I think accordingly. So I've never shut my door unless I'm busy and I can't meet, but I will schedule. But it's important for me to hear from you and for you to hear.
So I know, are you planning on a meeting again
This one,
this month?
I didn't tell you that today, but I had a
In-
plan there.
in March.
Yeah, it's just a tenant.
Right.
I don't want to overload folks though, because she's meeting as well, but,
I'm doing mine every other month.
and actually, to be honest with you, I did plan for it for March, because there's something I want to set up, and I'll just announce that part too, like the spring is coming, so I want to encourage some spring cleaning, and we're gonna have our truck out every week instead of on bulk days, just like every Wednesday, I think we'll do it, so that people, if they want to clean and declutter, that'll be helpful. Just to try to get rid of some clutter and make some space.
Said a truck.
Yeah, we have
Instead of going to the dump every other
Right.
week, they're
So we
gonna do it
have,
every week.
what do you call it? So, we have the
Dump
truck that we
trailer.
pull.
The trailer.
Trailer, dump trailer.
Thank you,
Oh.
dump trailer. Thank you so much. We have a dump trailer, Commissioner Nick, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We have a dump trailer, and so they can put the items in there, or the people that are not able will pick them up. That way, there's some things that you can get rid of, let's start fresh, and we'll be doing some things outside as well, so that's one of the reasons I want to have the meeting to announce that. I'm sure people are gonna be asking information about the RFQ at the time, and I won't be able to answer them completely, but I'll do my best to give them as much information as possible, but do know the information is coming. You will not be left out of the plans. Any comments or questions from anyone else?
Last question is the RFQ on the website right now?
Yes, it's under the section doing business. Yep. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Commissioner Decker, and seconded
I'll second.
by Commissioner Smith. The motion is adjourned. Thank you. The meeting is adjourned.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
No.
The meeting is adjourned. It's executive meeting.